Welcome everybody to BBB. Not these kind of Bs. I meant Bellbox Basics, a series where I, Scales, would like to give a helping hand to all of you out there looking to start your Bellbox careers. So you may ask, who is this Scales guy and why should I even take his advice? With having more than 1.5 years of crossbow spamming in Bellbox, more than 10 years of sweating first-person shooters, and a season of IBL behind my back, I think I qualify. Although it is always up to you to decide how much you will believe my humble self. So the most common mistake I see new players are doing is either forgetting that they have two hands in Minecraft or putting something completely useless in their offhand. The main idea of utilizing the offhand in Bellbox is that you will be able to do two things at once. For example, have a bow in your offhand, so if you want to melee after shooting an arrow, you won't need to wait out the sword's cooldown, and it's just gonna be much easier for you to do so. If you don't offhand anything, and you want to play for the win, then you either played too much 1.8 and forgot you can offhand stuff in Battlebox, or you didn't know this feature existed. Like, this is an even bigger sin than offhanding blocks, because you just completely ignore a feature of Minecraft that you can use to your advantage in Bellbox. And of course now the invis mains are about to stow me, since if you want to use an invisibility spark then you can't have anything in your offhand, or else your invis is gonna be completely useless. A simple fix for this problem is to press an extra 4 buttons to unoffhand your item for the duration of the invis, then put it back into your offhand. The second worst thing you can do is offhanding your blocks at the beginning of the round. If you have ever watched MCC, then you may have noticed that most of the contestants actually offhand blocks. So probably that is the reason you started doing it yourself. But Scales, offhanding blocks is so good because you can fill mid faster. What are you talking about? Exactly! The only time you should ever have your blocks in your offhand is when you are literally right next to mid and about to go for a fill. Because yes, having blocks in your offhand does make you fill the mid faster. If you're not actively filling mid, then having blocks in your offhand is literally the same as not having anything offhanded. On most maps, you will always have something else to offhand than blocks, but for example on Goldmine, if you pick Sharpshooter, then use up both of your Spade Sparks, and since you can't offhand anything else that makes sense, then it is okay to offhand your blocks when you aren't filling. If you offhand either a ranged weapon or a piece of utility, you're already doing better than 70% of the MCC kickoff participants in Bellbox. So why exactly is offhanding a ranged weapon or a utility piece far superior than blocks or nothing? Well, 99% of the time, you will always fire your ranged weapon at least once in a round, and you can use it anywhere on the map, while mid blocks can only be used while you're standing on mid. Another great thing about having your ranged weapon in your offhand is that you gain an advantage when a ranged fight turns into a melee fight. First of all, you won't need to do any hotkeying shenanigans, and even better, you won't need to wait out the sword's cooldown, so you will be able to deal the maximum amount of damage with your sword immediately. Also, you can always try to extend the gap and get a cheeky bow/crossbow shot on your opponent chasing you. And again, you won't have to worry about hotkeying nor the sword cooldown if you want to make it back to a melee fight. Just think about it. How many times do you use your ranged weapon in a single round of Bellbox? Probably at least 3 times, which is already more than how many times you go to mid just to fill some blocks in and then go away and repeat in a single round. After this segment, I probably still haven't convinced any of the sword mains to offhand their ranged weapons instead of blocks or nothing. If you purely despise anyone who uses a bow or a crossbow in Bellbox, then you should offhand a piece of utility, the best of which is being a Speed Spark. The Speed Spark is the best utility to close the gap between you and your bow spammer opponent, while still having your sword ready, and you just gotta right click once to use your Speed Sparks. Regen Spark is a top choice for your offhand as well, since that gives you 4 extra hearts no matter what situation you find yourself in. For example, you're getting beat up by an opponent bow spammer, you go back to cover, you press right click, and voila, free health. Regen orbs and gapples could be offhanded for the same reason as the regen sparks do. Webs are also nice to have in your offhand, to just simply place them and be able to start critting out your opponent immediately as soon as they run into your webs. If you misclick orbs, it might be more punishing, but having levitation orbs, both normal and timed, is a very good way to quickly mess up your opponent's movement, so you can go in and punish them or just simply back out of a bad situation. Glowing and milk orbs are great too to offhand, since you can either use them as a one-point aim snowball in a melee fight, or have their abilities on a quick disposal when you have nothing better to offhand. Now, offhanding frags, flashes or poison orbs might be a really niche pick, since with a single misclick you can just mess yourself up really badly and take a huge amount of damage. But if you're willing to take the risk, then go ahead. It's still better to offhand these orbs than nothing. And finally, offhanding the building blocks is advised for the Sky Battle mains, so you can play Sky Battle with actually having a good amount of arrows. For now these blocks are only available on Classic, but who knows, maybe in the future we'll get some more maps with them. Thanks for watching, and please send this video to anyone offhanding blocks or nothing, so hopefully we all can get better random teammates while we suffer in solo queue. Subscribe, like, all that stuff. Thanks and bye!